Meghalaya is the abode of the clouds. It is considered to be one of the most beautiful states in the country. Cherrapunjee is a small hilly town in Meghalaya. However small this town might be, Cherrapunjee was recognized as one of the wettest places on earth, with an average annual rainfall of more than 1400 centimeters. Only Mount Wayabulle in Hawaii receives 300 millimeters more rainfall annually. Cherrapunjee has several other records to its credit. It has the highest recorded total rainfall of 1,402 inches in a 12-month period during August 1860 to July 1861. In July 1861, Cherrapunjee recorded 360 inches of rainfall, the world's highest recorded rainfall in 1 month. The town also holds the records for maximum rain during 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 11-month periods. All these records were established in 1861. Cherrapunjee has also recorded the highest rainfall in the world for a 4-day period during September 1974. These distinctions have not only placed the small town of Cherrapunjee in the world's observation, but has also attracted tourists from all over the country. Cherrapunjee, in fact, is one of the most visited places in northeast India. The stiff cliffs, roaring waterfalls, the breathtaking view of the Bangladesh plains on a clear day, the State Forest Department Park, the limestone caves with stalagmites and stalactites have attracted visitors for decades. The drive to Cherrapunjee from Shillong, through hills covered with thick forests, engulfed in thick clouds and mist, thrills the visitors. Sometimes a vehicle at a turn of the winding road plunges into thick fog, and it becomes quite challenging to continue the drive. The situation becomes more intriguing if it starts to rain. The rain here is not comparable with rains elsewhere, for when it rains here, it literally pours. But the surprise element on the road and difficulty to maneuver are nothing compared to the beauty of the region. Cherrapunjee is the headquarter of the Sohra Civil Subdivision of Meghalaya State, spread over 488 square kilometers, and the center of Khasi literature and culture. The grand ruins in the town speak of an illustrious past. It was once the capital of undivided Assam and was an important administrative center. Shillong replaced Cherrapunjee in year 1864, and since then it has lost its political importance. Now it is the center for marketing of various agricultural and horticultural products. Grown in the area, Liu Sohra, or the local market, is an attraction in itself. It not only merchandises the local products, but it also gives a fair idea of the cultural milieu. Most shops in the local markets are owned and run by women, a showcase of the prevalent matriarchal Khasi society. The climate in Cherrapunjee is monsoonal subtropical, also called mesotropical ultra-hyper-humid, with distinct wet and dry periods. August is the hottest month, with an average maximum temperature of 23.1 degrees Celsius and a minimum of 18.4 degrees Celsius. Springtime is March and April. This season is marked by a strong wind, locally called Paithao, lashing out the area. The rainy season extends from May to October. The atmosphere during this season is fully loaded with water vapor, and the relative humidity exceeds 90%. Peculiarly, 95% of the rain in Cherrapunjee falls during the rainy season, and only 5% of the rainfall is spread over the rest of the year. The heaviest rains are between the months of June to September, when the monsoon sweeps in from the Bay of Bengal across the flat terrain of Bangladesh and collides with the Khasi Hills. As Cherrapunjee is situated at the southern edge of the plateau, the monsoon rises rapidly, and on account of a sudden gain in altitude, the vapor-loaded air gets suddenly cool. This resulted in enormous quantity of rain, but that is an affair of the past. Mouse syndrome, which is situated on another hilltop, not far from Cherrapunjee, now receives the highest rainfall. Mouse syndrome has recorded an average of 700 inches of annual rainfall, exceeding Cherrapunjee's record. The place is also famous for its giant stalagmite formation, present inside a cave locally known as Maujo Buin. Why Cherrapunjee is not receiving rainfall like it did in the past is a big question.
Some views are there that the rainfall pattern of Cherrapunjee is shifted to Mosindram. These two places, Mosindram and Cherrapunjee, are located in the same geographical location, and the conditions of these two places are same. So they receive nearly same rainfall. It is not shifted.
P.K. Guha Roy, former DG of Geological Survey of India, wrote in one of his reports that the weathered mantle, which plays a very important role in storing rainwater, is very thin over Cherrapunjee. At certain areas, the thickness is not even 1 meter. Added to this, the poor fracturing of rocks and extensive presence of horizontal beds allows the rainwater to be discharged as sheet runoff. In absence of the topsoil, the vegetation cannot strike root and establish itself successfully. Cherrapunjee presents an unexpected barren look. Most of the town and its surroundings are devoid of forest cover. Only isolated patches of greenery can be seen. These can be classified into 3 types of vegetation: broad-leafed evergreen forests, degraded forests with pine trees, and the grasslands. There are only 2 patches of surviving forests in Cherrapunjee area. One is the Sacred Grove, spread over an area of about 6 square kilometers, located around the limestone cave in Mausumai, close to Cherrapunjee. The grove is considered to be the abode of gods and deities. The local Khasis believe that removal of plants and its parts will bring God's wrath. This religious belief has so far protected the grove. The flora of the grove is quite rich. Apart from trees, shrubs, and herbaceous species, the sacred grove has a variety of orchids, climbers, and mosses. The reserve forest occupies an area of about 4 square kilometers and is protected by the village council.
Here in Cherrapunjee, mainly we have 2 types of forest. Number 1 is the reserve forest, and second one is the community forest, like this one we are standing nearby. So a community forest is maintained by the village. So the community forest is maintained purposely for the use of the villagers of that village. So when they need firewood, they need any timber for their different purposes and requirement, they can go to that community forest and they may bring from there what they require. They will allow. That means the village allowed them to do like that.
One distinct feature of Cherrapunjee is that rich orchards grow abundantly. Some of these are of the rarest kind, but the local inhabitants collect and sell off these orchard plants to the visitors for easy money. These plants easily attract the visitors and they buy them without being aware of the ecological requirements of these plants to grow successfully in Cherrapunjee. Most of these orchards die during transportation or at their final destination. This practice needs to be discouraged and stopped. Otherwise, the orchards will vanish from Cherrapunjee forever. Most of these are already threatened. The winter in Cherrapunjee is pleasant, and it continues from November to February. The average maximum and minimum temperatures recorded at Cherrapunjee during month of January are 16.2 degrees Celsius and 7.7 degrees Celsius. Though it could have been a good season for tourism, but it is not considered a convenient time to visit Cherrapunjee during the winters. The reason is quite shocking. With the onset of the winter season, the inhabitants of the town and its adjoining areas are seen filling tubs of water from the municipality taps. This process goes on till the water runs out. In fact, half a day goes by in collecting and storing water for everyday use. A small section of people even makes money out of this paradox by selling water for as high as 20 rupees a can. People who miss their chance to collect water and those who cannot afford the high price have to trek miles to collect water from springs that are still surviving. Ironically, a drought-like situation persists in an area that is considered to be one of the wettest places on earth. The water supply system in Cherrapunjee, installed by the State Public Health Engineering Department, was designed for a lesser population. With the increase of population and several folds of added requirements, the system could not cope up with the augmented pressure. Has the system failed? The answer to this crisis is not so simple. The secret lies in the ecology of the area and the changes that have taken place in the recent past.
All of us knows that Cherrapunjee is the heaviest rainfall in the world. But in the winter season, there is a scarcity of water. This is due to the old age of pipeline, dry out of source, and due to increase of population. In order to meet the demand of the people, now at present we are implementing one scheme known as the Cherrapunjee Water Supply Scheme, sponsored by the central government. Completion of the scheme, all the people of Cherrapunjee will enjoy a good water supply.
Ecologists agree that deforestation and grassland burning in the area have done more damage than anticipated. Areas devoid of forest and vegetation cover cannot collect and store rainwater. With the forests disappearing, there is dearth of dead plant materials that plays an important role in recharging the groundwater and feeding the springs once the rainy seasons were over. Ecologists found enough evidences to support this theory. The soil erosion in the area is very high, and most of the hills are without any soil cover or with meager vegetation cover. But Cherrapunjee was not always like this. It was once covered with rich oak forests. The forests, apart from the common flora, grew about 250 varieties of orchids, hundreds of varieties of butterflies and several varieties of leeches, called buffaloes, were available here. It took 3 decades of continuous logging and felling of trees for the forests to disappear. Another important factor attributed to water shortage in the area is jhum, or shifting cultivation, which is quite common in northeast India. The farmers in this area are primarily engaged in this type of cultivation, as conventional farming is not feasible on the hilly slopes. For jhuming, forests are felled and dry biomass is burned to clear lands. The clear lands, which are rich in nutrients, are used for growing crops till the nutrients last. The barren lands are then abandoned, and new areas are taken up in the same manner for cultivation.
Jhum cultivation is a very old method of cultivation, and it has been practiced since time immemorial. And you can see this area, it is full of greenery and then full of trees. Like this, that to my left, that area was also once covered by full of trees, and that area has been cleaned by the local people, and the forests are cut, and after that they burned it, and after that they sow corn. And when this particular area is exploited after cultivation, they have moved to another place, and after that again they will come after 8 to 10 years to cultivate again to that particular place.
The result is disastrous. The abandoned area is unable to regenerate and restore itself before it is taken up for jhuming the next time. As a result, the ecosystem of the area is showing signs of degeneration.
What we saw a barren land today was a forest area during 200 years ago. But due to jhum cultivation, the forest has been destroyed. After the people left that area for cultivation, still no trees are coming out except grasses. The afforestation work has been done by the forest department now for almost 20 years. But the afforestation does not come out very successfully. This is due to the poor condition of the soil, heavy rain during the summer, and frequent burning during winter. But still the forest department makes the awareness campaigns among the people about the importance of forests and the conservation of the forests.
Fire, that was once considered a vital component of the socio-cultural milieu of the Khasis, has today become the most disturbing factor in the ecology of Cherrapunjee. There are evidences that the seeds which propagate and reproduce are more readily killed in the grasslands due to fire. Probably, this is the reason that grasslands in the area are poorly represented by dicots, including the leguminous species. Legumes enrich the soil. Absence of legume leads to nitrogen deficiency, an important nutrient for the growth of plants and vegetation cover. The lack of vegetation cover accelerates the process of soil erosion. For the plant, roots act as a natural soil binder and protect the soil from the impact of raindrops. The grasslands at Cherrapunjee show similarity to temperate grasslands, where greater proportion of organic matter is allocated to the roots of the plants. This is an adaptive strategy for survival under adverse circumstances, especially under nutrient deficiency conditions of soil. Extensive root system creates increased root surface area, which can play important role in nutrient absorption from poor soil. Enough evidences are there to show that soil conditions at Cherrapunjee are at subtropical level. On one hand, the depth of soil is meager, and on the other hand, the soil is unable to retain enough nutrients, especially nitrogen and phosphorus. The overall impact of all these adversities is that Cherrapunjee is poor in vegetation cover and also soil resources. Here, flowing rainwater washes away everything, including the nutrients from the land. Thus, certain ions like potassium, calcium, magnesium, etc. are fast released from the soil. Deficiency of nutrients in the soil makes it poorer for the growth of plants, especially the fast-growing species, including crops. The lack of vegetation cover does not allow water retention. Hence, the springs that feed the water supply system have very low discharge during the winter months, which leads to the perpetual water scarcity in Cherrapunjee and around. Meghalaya is an important producer of low sulfur coal at a cheaper price and thus is in great demand. Hence, a large quantity of coal is mined and transported out regularly. Cherrapunjee has a large number of limestone mines and lime kilns too. Regular mining has degraded the environment in a big way, as the mining activities are carried out unscientifically and without any regulatory controls. The situation is worsening. If it persists, Cherrapunjee may reach a state of no return soon. With the passage of time, the problems are most likely to aggravate. A great deal of scientific understanding and well-planned initiatives on every level are required. The process should start from regulating and controlling the fire for jumming. Even though some areas need to be cleared to facilitate cultivation, biomass should not be burned. Rather, it should be allowed to convert into humus that enriches the soil in various ways. Large-scale reforestation work, especially in the patches of degraded forests, should be undertaken. Areas that support sustained agriculture need to be demarcated and brought under cultivation, and areas that cannot support agriculture or forestry could be developed into grasslands. These steps will lead to improvement in soil qualities, percolation of rainwater and augmentation of underground storage of water. To facilitate percolation of rainwater, a series of weirs and bunds with moderate storage capacity need to be built to recharge the groundwater reservoirs. The results cannot be immediate. In the intervening period, rainwater harvesting may be introduced to the residents with a futuristic point of view. The dwelling units may be provided with roof wash collector and the storage systems. Lessons learned from experiences like these could help in tackling the Cherrapunjee problem. Awareness, careful planning and the right implementation could solve the deficiency of water in the area. It will revive its greenery. The standard of living will improve and the tourists will be able to visit all the year round, thus improving the general economy of the region. And maybe then the rains will come back.